Hello there, and welcome to episode 2 of Break Free from the BS. So, I'm actually recording this intro after just finishing the episode because I just opened my laptop and was like, bam, and the thoughts started coming. But I just want to put a little disclaimer at the front of this episode. Whenever I'm recording my thoughts, I find some days I have this really light-hearted delivery. Some come in quite a direct big sister energy. It feels punchy and direct and challenging and passionate. And it might be a hard listen, but I hope that it grips your brain and shakes you into remembering how unbelievably powerful you are. That is my aim here. And I really want to be authentic in how I show up and how I translate my thoughts into these episodes for you. I just go with it. So I hope you know that everything I'm about to say in this episode is delivered with love and it's just what's coming through me. But just know that this is all delivered with love, and because I want you to live the biggest, most amazing version of your life and yourself. Okay, I'll see you on the other side. I want to talk about romanticizing your life. And I think it is one of the easiest ways that you can start to bring presence, joy, self love, positive self view, routine into your life without resistance. I genuinely believe that all of that magic lives hidden in romanticizing your life. And what do I mean when I say romanticize your life? For me, romanticizing my life, and I really think it might be different for every person, but for me, if I had to describe what romanticizing my life meant, it's this flirtation with your own life. It's this finding beauty in the small moments. It's turning the mundane into magic. It's joy. It's moving your body because it feels good. It's adding beautiful little touches to things that you cook, drink, do for yourself every day to make it feel more purposeful. Romanticizing your life is actually moving through your life with presence and with purpose. So rather than me just, heading to my bathroom, clicking on the big light, scrubbing my face aggressively, wiping all my makeup off, slapping some oil on my face without even making eye contact with myself in the mirror because no one wants to look at themselves in horrible bathroom lighting. So, like, no eye contact, just scrub, 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 slap, slap, slap. Okay, brush teeth. Okay, bed. So, I've just spent like 5 minutes rushing through something, feeling hurried in that moment. It's just a necessity that I have to do as a human being. And I just want to get it done, right? I'm not present in it. I'm just thinking about things that I've got to do tomorrow and da, da, da. And I'm robbing myself of a moment to just look at myself eye to eye and like make it a beautiful thing. So I start with lighting, right? I am allergic to big lights. And I know people are like, oh, you're either a big light person or you're a lamp person. I do not understand how big light people exist and they're like not fucking fried. It changes my nervous system so much. It fucks with my sleep so much if I use big downward lighting anytime out of the daytime. It just fries me. But my bathroom always lacked it because of like obviously no plugs, right? So I finally got these little like wall stick lights that automatically come on. So I never turn the big light on now in the evening. Like if I use that bathroom out of daylight hours, I use this little automatic light on the wall. It doesn't come on in the day. It comes on in the night. It's fucking amazing. And that is now what I use in the night. And I also light a candle. I just light a candle, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Like it's a little tea light. It's not gonna cost me a fortune, it's just like this little extra thing that just then romanticizes this moment and it brings me into the moment because it's a beautiful moment to be in. You're not going to want to be in your life if it's not beautiful, but only you get to either appreciate the beauty that's already there in front of you. I'm already in a warm home that I'm safe in, with skincare that I've bought with money that I've earned. I'm already in a beautiful, privileged moment with a lot to be grateful for. So then pouring on some care for that beautiful moment, like lowering the light, a little bit candle. I wear a fucking crown. I have a crown that I use for a friend's Halloween party. No, medieval Halloween party specifically. And when I put this crown on for the first time, I was like, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. I look bossing in this crown. Like, it felt sick. It's this beautiful, like, thorned crown. I'll share the photo so you know you can visualize what I'm talking about. And I was like, I'm not just going to put this in my little fancy dress box. This is staying right by my skincare. So in the evening, I don't have to hunt for a clip. I just slide that bad boy through my hair and I get to wear a crown whilst I do my skincare. I mean, come on. So there I am each night with my candle, my low lighting, my crown, and I'm looking myself in the mirror eye to eye as I don't just slap it on my face, but I massage it into my face and I do light lymph drainage. And my face has completely changed. I'm using the same skincare, which is beautiful, as minimal ingredient as possible skincare, but it is completely transforming the way my face looks, just doing that with presence and love. It's insane. And it's this moment that rather than viewing it as something I have to do, it's something that I get to do. In that moment, I get to spend 5 minutes with myself every night, looking myself eye to eye. And I'm not ashamed to say, I also pour compliments towards myself. Like, I pour compliments to how pretty I look. Even as I'm taking my makeup off, like, your eyes look so beautiful, Louise. You are so magnetic, Louise. You're amazing. You recorded your first podcast today. I big myself up because we have been taught to do that the opposite way. That is not an accident. And that's the one of the pieces of bullshit I want to help cut away from you, is that you have been taught that hating yourself and speaking badly of yourself is normal. And that if you speak well of yourself, you are cocky, arrogant. That is so fucked. That is not okay. And the only reason that exists is so that you buy stuff to try and feel better about the problems that you quote unquote have or think you have because you've been told you have them. They push a beauty ideal and then they push the resolution for the beauty ideal that is completely made up. It's completely made up. And we know it's made up because depending on where you live in the world, there will be a completely different set of beauty standards. And you can basically bet it's the opposite of that natural demographics beauty standard. So if you've got a country where women tend to be larger, for example, or have dark skin, they will be sold an ideal in their celebrity, in their magazines, on their TVs, that slim, pale-skinned women are the most attractive ones. And they will then be force-fed products via their demographic on their social medias, in those very films, in TV shows, blah, 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 right? Or on social media now, to have them spend that money to then fit the ideal. And a country that is 2,000 miles away across the other side of the globe that has the opposite type of demographic will be getting fed the opposite. In most cases, and to be honest, most of the world now has the blanket one-size-fits-all Western view of that. So if you're not going to spend 5 minutes each day pouring love into yourself as an act of rebellion to fight back against the system that tells you that you are not worthy and therefore you need this thing to be worthy, if you're not capable of doing that, you will be at the mercy of that forever. It's a shite sight easier to look yourself in the eye each night and remind yourself of how fucking wonderful you are inside and out, how beautiful you are inside and out, how kind you are inside and out, how whole you are, and how you are completely and utterly worthy of love from the first breath you take until the last breath you take. And that is that. You are worthy. Nothing outside of you can make you feel that. Only you get to give yourself that. Because just like these beauty standards will cycle, and this is for men and women, by the way. I'm speaking of a lot of women-based examples because I am a woman, so that is my experience of the world. But men that are listening to this, and I hope there are some men here also listening to this, you are getting fed the same thing in a different format, right? They know your minds better than anyone in the world, just like they know our minds better than anyone in the world because they conditioned them. The person that is selling you the thing are the same people that are giving you the message in the first place. It's how it works. So I urge you, and I feel like I've maybe come off tangent a little bit here, but it's so relevant because beautifying your own life and deciding what that looks like for you, romanticizing your life, is a way that you take back power because you find beauty in what you already have. You find beauty in how you move through the world. So you stop needing to find beauty outside of you because it's all in you. So it's really relevant that we actually talk about how even that small act of romanticizing my life, of treating myself that way when I do my skincare each night, and I don't do that to look a certain way. I do it because it feels fucking amazing. There's been so many times when my fella's been here and I have been putting my skincare on, like, and when I say skincare, I literally wash my face and then I put either oil on, I sometimes use tallow, super basic, right? I'm not doing no like 5-step routine. I don't have time for that. No judgment if you do. I have always admired someone's commitment to that. But mine is just very basic. But oh my God, taking that makeup off and putting oil on my face feels so good. It's like taking my bra off. Again, sorry, boys. I know you might not relate to that one. I don't know what your equivalent is. Someone can tell me. Have a man tell me what your equivalent to taking a bra off at the end of the day is. Because, oh, honestly, it's the best freaking feeling. So by romanticizing those little moments, you start to find wholeness in your day. Because that's one example, right? That it could be making your coffee rather than just being in your brain. You're like, oh, you're actually taking care with each step of making that coffee. As you're stirring it, you're smelling it, you're using your senses, really relishing in that moment. And maybe it's that whenever you're making a coffee, no other thoughts are allowed to enter your head other than positive words spoken on your life and spoken on yourself. Imagine that. Like, I don't drink hot drinks, but I know plenty of people that do. And let's say they have 3 hot drinks in a day that takes 5 minutes each time to make. Boil a kettle, blah, 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 right? 5 minutes. Think about how else you can utilize those 15 minutes a day. You know, there's so much you could achieve if you did it for just 5 minutes a day, let alone 15 minutes a day. That instead of just aimlessly being in your head and thinking about all the things in your life that are going on and trying to navigate all these things, you take a beat to romanticize the moment. I can't wait to see how amazing today is. I can't wait for all the amazing people that I'm going to meet that are going to teach me things. I can't wait for the experiences that I'm going to have today and all the beautiful things I'm going to see. Imagine if that was your morning routine. Think about what the opposite is. I know that some people would have just listened to me say that and be like, "Ugh, all right, you fucking hippie bitch. Calm down with your woo-woo shit." But think about what is currently happening in your brain when you're making your coffee. If it's very neutral, cool. But if every morning when you're making your morning coffee, you're going, oh, I can't believe I've got to go into work today. This sucks. And I've got to do that. And that sucks. And oh, I still haven't replied to thingy. I'm so shit. Like, I'm such a shit friend. Why aren't I replying to people on time? They're going to hate me. If that is what you are making your coffee with, you're making a freaking latte with a side of panic, stress, or hurry. If that is how you are making your morning coffee, don't wonder why your life is that. That is how powerful your thoughts are. So it's as much about romanticizing the actual moment for all of its beauty in the ordinary as it is to be a tool to start to eradicate some of the feelings that you're carrying around and therefore the actions that you're taking every day, because your thoughts and your presence in each thing that you're doing is so scrambled with stress or anxiety or just general shitting on yourself. You've tried that for a really long time. How's that going? Only you will be able to answer that. But like, how is self-hating going? How's never being present and filling every single slot of time that isn't scheduled for something like work or meetings or spending time with friends? How's filling every single slot around that with dead scrolling going? Doom scrolling, whatever you want to call it. How's that going? And I'm saying this with so much love, and trust me, I need to hear this sometimes as much as you do. But we have to be able to be blunt with ourselves about this shit, because that is currently how you're romanticizing your life. You're waking up, and before your head has even left your pillow, before you have even looked into the room that you are in, let alone the house, the garden, the outside world, like the world that you're in real life 3D, before you even pay attention to that, you are reaching for your phone and you are entering an artificial world. An artificial world that's full of wonder and insane opportunity and magic, but an artificial world that's also full of very dampening stuff, scary stuff, fear-based stuff. And it's not here in this moment. It's somewhere out there in the ether. So before you are even blinking your eyes open and taking stock of your real life that you have created, the space that you have direct control over, your bedroom, you have direct control over how that bedroom looks and feels and how romantic that feels to be in. Before you even look at that, you're looking at another world. So that's how we're starting our days. And then we're putting our feet on the ground. And like I say, we're rushing our morning routine, then in the bathroom, and then we're rushing for our breakfast, sometimes grabbing like literal things that we put into a pot and then add water and shake and drink and call it breakfast. Like, that's what we're doing. And I am so fucking aware that there may be people listening to this being like, sorry, Louise, I have 3 kids, I work full time. And you're like, will you fuck off with that? Because I don't have time for your romanticize your life bullshit. And do you know what? Valid. We are working way more than we should be to maintain what should be quite accessible lives at this point, right? Totally agree, that is horrific. We're then having to drop our kids at school for someone else to raise, blah, blah, blah. Like, I could go into how unfair that system is. But if that's what we are in, it takes us to look at our lives with radical self-responsibility and acceptance to go, where is my 5-minute wins? Like, where am I? 5 minute on the loo each morning, you could read a book instead of doom scrolling. One is going to absolutely fry your dopamine system and make you feel like shit for the rest of the day, but feels easy, ironically, in the moment. Doesn't make the rest of your day easy. Or one feels a little bit harder for some reason to like give our attention to. But trust me, if you're doing that every morning, you're going to want to reach that next chapter if it's an interesting book. And if it's not, don't read that book. Read a book that interests you. A book that's a joy every day to pick up when you're on that toilet in the morning. Romanticize any little slot that you can. It's okay if you don't manage to do it every day. It's okay if some days you feel so fucking tired that you just want to get through that day. That's fine. But if you are doing that every day, that is your life, babe. That's your whole life. So you have to find the opportunities to add some magic, because if you don't, then what are you doing? Who is going to make you feel alive again if it's not you? So yeah, I take romanticizing my life pretty fucking seriously, and I don't care if it looks woo-woo or it sounds ridiculous, because when I say romanticize your life like your life depends on it, I mean it. I mean it with every fiber of my being. I mean it with every fiber of me. So I will post more stuff on my socials on easy wins for romanticizing your life to inspire you, because I want to help you come home to you. But only you truly know what that looks and feels like. What works for me might not work for you, but I can certainly give you some inspiration. But my first thing and my advice to you is, find where you do a task already every single day that you currently just blank through. It's autopilot time. That is free time. That's how I want you to look at that. When you are doing a task every day and it is currently an autopilot task, you don't think about it, you are somewhere else entirely, whilst your human body goes bar, 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 and carries out the routine actions you have taught it already. It knows what it's doing. You don't have to be present. That is a gift, because you have automated a task you have to do every day that you can now use the brain power to do something else entirely. If you're washing up, learn a language. Whilst you're making coffee, speak positive words on your life. Whilst you're doing your skincare, pour self-love into how you view yourself. Whilst you drive to work, put on a podcast or listen to music and sing your fucking heart out. Find the opportunities to steal the free time. You do not need more time. More time doesn't exist, guys. I need more time. I need more. It doesn't exist. Some people will be far richer in time than you, and some people will be far poorer in time than you, depending on who they are, what commitments they have, where they live in the world. That's where, although yes, we all have the same 24 hours, we can also understand that everybody has a different situation in those 24 hours. But we also have to accept that personal radical self-acceptance of, if this is where I currently am and I am not enjoying where I currently am. As I say, if you're cruising through your life and you feel happy as Larry, this one maybe is not for you, and that's okay. But if in any of what I'm saying it triggers you, like, I don't have time, Louise, this is my lot, no one else can change that situation for you. No one else can find the little moments that you can start from right now to find joy in your life, or create joy in your life if it's not there already. Only you get to do that. And you probably find that if you write down here and there is no joy and there is no happiness, if every day you plant a new little seed of joy in your life, some days you might miss, other days you'll remember to throw a whole handful down. Come the end of the year, you are still going to have a garden full of flowers. You don't have to be perfect to make progress. You don't have to know how to go from a situation where you hate your job, hate your living situation, hate your financial situation, hate your body. You do not have to go from there to loving yourself entirely, loving your job, your work, your purpose, your financial, like, you don't have to go from one to the other immediately. What you have to do is decide that the end game is a possibility, truly believe it, and then just focus on today, this moment, right now. How do I make this moment special in my time on earth? How do I learn in this moment? How do I properly rest in this moment? How do I look after myself in this moment? It's all you ever have to focus on. As long as you've got that vision for yourself and you fully believe it to be true, you can start to create magic from where you are at. I truly believe that. Because if we are saying that if you are in a shit situation now, none of this applies, then how the hell is the situation going to change? How will it ever change? And that is not to say shit things are not going to happen for you. It's not to say that hard things might not happen for you, but you still have the ability to move through that situation in a way that aligns with who you want to be and the life that you want for yourself. None of this is to berate you for where you are at. None of this is to judge you for where you are at. I get it. I, 6 years ago, was sat on the kitchen floor of the place that I was living in at the time that was riddled with mold and fucking my health, in a relationship that I did not see a future in and feel happy in and feel fulfilled in a body that I hated, sobbing on the phone to my mum because I was in such a deep grip of depression and anxiety that most days I couldn't even get out of bed. That was me 6 years ago. And now I am recording a podcast challenging you to think differently about how you have been walking through your life, because it is available to you and it is the most powerful thing that you can realize about yourself. And that you get to decide how you perceive and how you move through the world at all times. You know, you could have a relative fall sick and suddenly need to be caring for that relative. Something in that is there to help you expand. Something there is to teach you about yourself. And if you move through the world believing that, everything makes much more sense. And you become less resistant to life and what it is to teach you and how you get to experience it. You get to decide. That should be the most exciting thing. If you truly are hearing me and understand me, that you get to decide, you get to choose. That should be the most exciting and empowering thing. Like, that is even down to the example that started all of this, of when you go into the bathroom at night to do a little nighttime routine, you get to decide whether you just ignore that, rush through, doom scroll, absorb someone else's life, stay in your head in anxiety, or you get to look yourself in the eye and pour love into yourself. You get to choose. What a fucking gift. What a gift that you get to choose. So I hope you know that even when I'm using this like stern, direct big sister vibe voice, it's because I love you. It's because I just want you to experience the transformation that I've had over the last 6 years when I tried a different way. When I started to pull the plugs out on all the things that I had been told I am measuring myself by, my success by, my level of self-love by, how I care about myself, how I treat my body, what I put into it as fuel. When I started to pull out all the plugs and all the billboards and all the adverts, when I started to do that and come home to myself, my entire life has changed. And suddenly I know my purpose on this earth. I feel good about my body, my brain, my personality, what I bring to the table. And I can say that with my chest because that should be normal. We need to normalize talking brilliantly about yourself and not talking about yourself like you are a slug. We need to normalize self-compliment rather than self-hatred. It is not cocky or arrogant to love yourself. Truly think you are valuable and funny and charming and beautiful and resourceful and caring and kind. You are allowed to think those things about yourself, just like you think about the people that you love in your life as those things. You are them and they are you. Because the more that you speak to yourself in that way, and the more that you just rush through life trying to ignore your power and your presence in your life, the more you will draw people into your life that mirror that exact same feeling back to you. If you are surrounded by people that treat you like shit, whether it be people in work, relationships, parents, if you are constantly surrounded by people that treat you badly, it's because you yourself view yourself badly. You have accepted the conditioning And you are now asking for confirmation constantly from the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it. Every time you repeat a thought to yourself that you are not worthy, you will be shown by the world that you are not worthy. The minute you decide that you are the best thing since sliced bread, or you slowly start to grab and correct those thoughts into ones that say, I am trying. Once you start to grab those thoughts and how you spend your life and how you treat yourself and the level of time that you spend with yourself, once you start to change that, you will become rock solid in the knowledge that you are just divine energy, and no one can take that away from you. No one can take that away from you. People can only harm you with their judgments and their words if you believe it about yourself first. Point blank. So what I'm trying to say is, for a lot of people, if that's how they currently feel about themselves, then they're moving through their lives in a way that represents that. So they're like waking up and necking a monster first thing because they don't give a shit about themselves. They're not making themselves healthy food. They're not treating their bodies with respect. They're not treating their friends with respect. They're not respecting their own time. All of the ways that people move through their lives is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. That's all it is. So if that feels really far away from where you are, like you're currently, all the things I mentioned, you currently hate your job, your life, da 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 da. Don't try and skip to the end. Just find the little moments in your life right now where you can start to sprinkle some love and presence and care. That's all it is. It's not like you don't have to go mental and be like, I've got to completely overhaul my life. Great if that's the sort of person you are and you want to do that. Totally respect it. I am exactly the same. I'm like, I'm trying to fix the all or nothing girly in me, but she dies hard, right? She dies hard. But the point is, if you can just find those little 5-minute windows to be a bit more present in your day, your life will slowly start to transform. And that is how I got from that depressed version of me that I just told you about to where I am now. It was not one decision that changed everything. It was every single day making little tiny decisions, and sometimes having patches where I went to shit again, and then I would remember who I was and I would start to make little tiny decisions again towards the person that I know that I am. And now I am that person. And I can still see this amazing path stretched out in front of me where I can see an even better version of myself up ahead. But it doesn't take away from how much I value my life and my progress and my success now. I love my life. I love my friends. I love myself. I love my partner. I love how much money I have in my bank account. I love my life now. It does not mean that I don't see bigger and better and more amazing things happening in those areas in the future. I see all of it and it's so fucking exciting. And I cannot wait to hold the things that I know I'm going to hold. But I got here by doing that exact same thing before. I just want to feel happy, content, safe, loved, and secure. And that is what I've created for myself by every single day, those little tiny moments, finding those little tiny moments, making those little tiny decisions. It all links together. It cannot feel like a chore to drag yourself through your life. It cannot feel a chore to cook yourself good food, to go to the gym, to start that business, to write that book, to paint those you know, and it's going to be different for everybody. But like whatever those things that you are doing, whatever the things are that you want to do, it's just little by little. Find the little moments, find the bits of magic. And before you know it, you are going to be exactly where you deserve to be. Because you are fucking amazing. I really hope that you got something from this episode. I know this was a very punchy, direct episode. And sometimes that's how they come through me. And I want to be authentic in how I'm delivering these. So I don't want to fluff something up that I feel should be direct. And I just hope that you know that everything I say here, again, is with love and with your best interest in heart. And you can take what, works for you. You can take what speaks to you and you can leave the rest. And I can't wait to see you for the next episode. As always, I love to hear your thoughts. No matter how you feel about this episode, if you love it, if you hate it, if it triggers the shit out of you, I love to hear your thoughts. So you can comment, you can email me directly, louise@breakfreefromthebs.com. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. It's funny because whenever I'm recording my thoughts, I find some days I have this really light-hearted delivery and it's all very light and fun to deliver and listen to, right? And then I'm really aware that sometimes when my thoughts come, it feels punchy and direct and challenging and passionate. And it might be a hard listen. And I do understand that, but I hope that it grips your brain and shakes you into remembering how unbelievably powerful you are. That is my aim here.